In the cleaning and facility solutions industries, reliability often comes down to what's working behind the scenes, powering equipment, supporting productivity, and keeping operations moving without interruption. Today's ISSA Member Spotlight focuses on a company that plays a critical role in that equation, delivering the dependable energy solutions cleaning professionals like you rely on every day. From powering everything from handheld tools to floor equipment and beyond, this organization's impact is shaping how work gets accomplished across the industry. And to do this, it's my pleasure to welcome a special guest, Don Wallace, the Chief Operating Officer of U.S. Battery Manufacturing Company. Don, welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. I've been looking at your company. It's a great story we're going to share today. But to start off, I have to ask, how's the guitar business? Because I see them.
Yeah, one of the cleaning lady that works for us, she says, how many guitars do you need? And my answer is always, well, how many are there?
How many do you have?
I think I have 10.
Okay, because I see five, I think, back there, maybe six. But
Yeah, there's some more.
can you play them?
Yeah, yeah. My education background early on was classical music, so I was a singer, sang opera. But I also played the bagpipes. I played in a pipe band and various other wind instruments along the way. So it's just a hobby now. So
Don, if I'd known this, I would have had a set up a little musical interlude or something, but I didn't know. So next time we're going to have you
okay.
play for us.
Uh,
But again, thank you for being here. We're going to tell this story about your company. You've been a member since 1986, so thank you for that, an ISSA member.
mhm.
But let's start with this. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got here on a professional level.
As I said earlier, I started out in music and uh, I needed a way to pay bills actually. So I ended up working for a battery company back east. And I think what you find in our industry is that once you get into the battery industry, it's like this hole you can't get out of. You're caught up in in the battery world, and it's been interesting this will be 49 years for me in the battery industry. Um, Most of the time, the faces don't change, just the business cards in our industry. So it's a pretty tight group of people, professionals, equipment manufacturers, as well as the other battery producers. We're all interconnected, and we talk, and it's a group that great people. It's been a great industry, and that's really how I got here. I moved from Newcastle Battery in Pennsylvania, where I started, to Alco Battery in Southern California, which I ran, and then I was hired over as the sales director at U.S. Battery, and this is 31 years now I've been at U.S. So it's been a really good run. It's been a really great business to be in, and it's provided an excellent life for my family. So no regrets.
Well, tell us more about the U.S. battery story because I believe it's a family business now. So maybe explain that, how it got started. I know we're going to talk about this is a pivotal year in a moment,
Yeah.
something to be proud of, but talk about that, the history of your company.
So the company was started in 1926 in San Diego, California. And back in the early days of battery manufacturing, it was not uncommon to have what we call assemblers. There were companies that were making batteries, East Penn, for instance, and Exide, those companies. But there were a lot of mom and pop businesses who bought components So they would buy cases and covers, they would buy plates from somebody, and U.S. Battery started out as an assembler in San Diego. So it was a great way to run a business, but the problem was really from a quality standpoint because these assemblers could buy from whoever they wanted to, whenever they wanted to, whoever had the best price today. So, from a customer perspective, you really never knew what you were getting other than you got Bob's battery. And as regulations have changed our industry over the years, those types of businesses have gone away. But in 1972, John Anderson, the founder of our company, and his partner Cliff Richards purchased U.S. Battery in San Diego and incorporated it into their business in Signal Hill, which was called Battery Plates. They were a plate supplier to the assembler industry at the time. And then they were making a wide range of products, but John Anderson's expertise had been deep cycle batteries, and he could see that focusing the U.S. battery effort with the combined battery plates and U.S. battery, he needed a better focus, and so we took the path of deep cycle as opposed to starting batteries for cars and boats and things like that. We build batteries that power things, and that's been our path ever since. He was able to grow that business, and we expanded in 1987 to Evans, Georgia, and built a factory there primarily because E-Z-GO golf car and the club car were both in the city of Augusta, and Evans is a suburb of Augusta. Also, Yamaha was just an hour up the road south of Atlanta, so it was a good place to be if you were making golf car batteries at the time. In 1989, the business was still growing, and they expanded by building a building in Corona, California, moving the Signal Hill facility to Corona. Corona became the headquarters of the company, and at the same time, John Anderson bought out his partner, Cliff Richards, and became the sole owner of U.S. Battery. In 2000, we were still growing. We were working with E-Z-GO and Club Car also at the time, and we built a new factory in Augusta, Georgia. So we kept the Evans plant. The Augusta plant was just 10 miles away. So we today still have the two facilities, both in the Augusta area. 2008, we added an oxide mill to our Georgia plant. And then since that time, we've purchased additional buildings and land that are adjacent to the Augusta facility for future expansion. So we own quite a few acres in Augusta, and we'll continue to grow at that location. We've also added an oxide mill at our Corona plant. So we've become pretty vertically integrated over the years. So we still do have to outsource some raw materials, but for the most part, we're pretty self-contained at this point.
Thank you for the details. You mentioned 1926 was the start. This is 2026, so I'm pretty good at math when it comes to even numbers. 100 years.
Yes, we're celebrating our 100th year in business this year. It's been an awesome run. Great company to work for.
Yeah, and I love the logo that you put together for this year, so everyone can see that. What a milestone! But what about you mentioned you're going to keep expanding. Now, what's coming up next?
There are so many new technologies and chemistries coming out that as a lead acid battery manufacturer, we're going to have to find the niches that we fit in and try and blend in the new technologies into what we're already doing. There are products like sodium batteries that are coming out that have a lot of potential. And we obviously we're dealing with lithium products out there. Um, and I think that flooded lead acid is going to remain a mainstay in the business. There's a need for flooded lead acid, and we will continue to advance the performance of flooded lead acid so that we can maintain that closeness between why people want to buy lithium because it's easier to take care of and it gives more runtime. There are things that we are working on constantly as an industry that improve flooded lead acid and continue to make that really a better option for the long term. If you look at things like recyclability, a flooded lead acid battery or an AGM battery, they are about 98% recyclable. Lead acid batteries are the number one recycled item in the world today. Lithium has to be disposed of at a hazardous waste site, and it will cost you money to deposit that battery at that site. So there are financial offsets. Lithium's way more expensive on the front end than either flooded lead acid or AGM. There are many issues with lithium out there right now. You have very specific components that are critical to the performance of lithium. And the problem that we see in the market in general is that there are a lot of cheap options out there. And given the fact that certain chemistries in lithium batteries have the propensity to go into thermal runaway and start a fire, it's critical that the components that are in the battery are the best components that you can get. The batteries that we sell under the Essential Lithium label that is sold by US Battery are all completely UL approved. We have UL 2271, UL 2580, UL 383, and IP 67 certifications. And what you can see in the market is some distributors will advertise the battery as being UL approved, when in fact only maybe one or two of the components of the battery are UL approved. When we advertise UL approvement, that our total battery has been submitted to the underwriter's laboratory and tested and approved. So you can rest assured that the quality of the product that comes with an Essential Lithium label on it is a quality product. It's been tested. We test every single battery at the factory before it gets shipped out. The industry right now is seeing an upsurge in distributors wanting to sell lithium batteries. And unfortunately, the manufacturers who make the batteries offshore will make them in any color and put any label on it, and they'll sell them at any price point that the customer wants to build into the product. And that becomes a problem for the end user. So I would just say, know what you're buying, research what you're buying, make sure it has the correct certifications, and make sure it is the battery for your application. Another problem with lithium is it gets misapplied a lot. So just be sure that you're buying a certified, solid quality product that was designed for the application you want to use it in. So there's still advantages to our technology versus a more modern technology. But in between, I think there will be the next best thing. And what that is, we're not sure at this point. There are a lot of possibilities out there, and we'll just have to wait and see how we fit in. We currently offer flooded lead acid, AGM, and lithium to our customer base.
Mhm.
So it's available. We understand the technologies. It's just from a manufacturing standpoint, some of them don't fit with what we do, and they won't fit into our longer term plan from a manufacturing perspective.
You think back of 100 years and all the changes in your world of technology and in your part of the industry. The next 100 years could be impossible to
Yeah,
visualize. And if we could look forward in time, it would be an interesting story to see. That's for sure.
yeah, I think it is going to be really interesting, and the speed at which technology
Yeah.
changes is mind-boggling at best.
Maybe battery energy will be like Wi-Fi. It'll just transmit. That'd be nice.
Yeah, yeah, I really, I'm going to be interested in watching where it goes. Hopefully
Yeah.
from my easy chair at that point.
Easy chair with your guitar, strumming your
There,
guitar.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Now I know you mentioned Yamaha, you mentioned golf carts. You work in a lot of industries, not just cleaning and facility solutions. But what do you like about this industry, the ISSA type of industry?
We started really focusing in the golf car industry, and it's very highly competitive.
Hmm.
And we made a decision many years ago that we were a niche company that had better opportunities in the floor cleaning industry and AWP, aerial work platforms. And today, those are the markets that we are predominantly focusing on. We supply several large OEMs in the cleaning industry and several large OEMs in the AWP industry on a worldwide basis. So um, it's just been a better fit for us. I think overall, the golf industry is very tough on the product. Not that the other industries aren't, but I think that it's easier to focus from a technical standpoint and a service level uh, with the dealers that are in the cleaning industry. They understand the equipment. It's their equipment. They're taking care of it as opposed to a golf course, for instance, leasing 300 golf cars and it's a lease. So what? You know, um, we just found it very interesting. We found the people great working in the cleaning industry. It's just a great place to be. And we've had long partnerships with several OEMs in that industry. So it's been a comfortable place for us to work, and hopefully our customers are really happy with the product and service that we've provided them over the years.
I think they are. I will say that I've rented many golf carts, probably with your batteries in them. I've never been abandoned in the middle of a course. They always get me backed on.
Well, that's good.
That's the job, right? That's
That's what they're supposed to do. Yeah.
yeah. I wonder, I've never seen one run out myself, but I just wonder how long they'll go. But the what you folks do and the technology in batteries now is amazing. I've owned a lot of pieces of equipment, a vehicle that had a battery, and it's just really cool to see what has happened over the years.
A
Oh, go
lot of
ahead.
those improvements have come from the charging side.
Mm.
Um, in the early days, you bought a charger that was the right voltage and you bought a battery, and the outcome was whatever the two of them gave you. Um, as batteries and charging technologies have evolved over the years, it's become more symbiotic. You need to understand what battery you have and what charger you have and what controller is in the piece of equipment that it has to work with. And it's become more complicated. It was sales for me in the early days was how many do you want, and here's the price. And now we have to dig deep now. What's it going into? What charger are you using? What's the expectation in terms of runtime? And so we have to calculate all of that so we end up giving the customer the best experience he can have by buying those products in a combination. And that requires technical support, which that's another whole story.
Yeah, well, let's dig into it a bit. What you're saying is interesting because I'm looking outside in. I need to come visit your manufacturing plant, I think, to
Sure.
understand what's happening because I buy batteries, I use them. There's so many in my home. But you're talking about not just manufacturing, you're talking about consulting and
Mhm.
digging into the needs and matching the solution to the challenge in a perfect way. What kind of feedback do you get from those that you serve? What do you hear from them that makes you feel good about what you're doing? Because a battery that powers a piece of equipment that keeps on going compared to one that doesn't is a big deal. Talk about that if you would.
For sure. I mean, we have a full engineering department in both our Augusta facility and our Corona facility. We have test labs, and we offer technical support to anyone who's using our product, whether they're an OEM or just a customer calling in for help. We're able to work with them on their specific issue or application. And part of the sales today involves our engineering department linking up with their engineering department before the sales department will even have a conversation. So um, we are happy to be able to have that format because the last thing that I want as an owner in the company is to be spending money on needless battery replacements that could have been averted had the application been correct, or had the installation been correct, or the charger, if we have charger issues. That's one of the things that we go through before we sign a contract with an OEM, for instance, is that we need to test the charger that they're going to use with our product. If it's not one that's already certified, and we on our website, we have quite a list of chargers that were already certified that they perform well with our product. And today, you can actually change settings in most of the chargers so that depending on which brand you have or which voltage or whatever, you can change the settings in the charger to be adaptable to the specific situation that they have. So it's not so much they have to go out and buy a new charger or change the charger. We just need to interface with the charger company and make sure that the algorithms in the charger memory are the ones that are specific for our products.
Hey Don, do you have any pull with like Apple or those that make the phones? Because the chargers, they all should be the same. Do you have anything there?
Oh, no, sorry. But I see that they're coming up with induction chargers now for your electric car where you can put them on the garage floor and you just drive over them. You don't
There,
have to plug them in or anything. It's induction, just like your Apple phone.
see, there it is, that Wi-Fi signal type of thought
Yep.
that maybe will be the future. Maybe we'll see that in our lifetime, Don. I don't know. That's cool though. That's cool how things have changed over the years.
Uh,
Induction, you just have to park over it. And are we going to see that in floor machines, floor cleaning, or is that already a thing?
I I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
I think it probably could be a thing that's outside of my wheelhouse, though.
Well, we have planted the thought, if nothing
Yeah,
else. Yeah. All right, Don. Well, let's wrap it up. I do appreciate this conversation, but as we think about ISSA and our members and those you serve as a battery manufacturer, Any words of advice to the industry, whatever it is, maybe business or inspirational, that you would like to close with?
Well, I did want to make a point about ISSA. It's been a great association. The trade shows are well put on. They're well thought out, and the format that it gives us as manufacturers to be in front of customers is awesome, and it's played a large part in our growth within that market. And also the ability to appear in your publications on a regular basis. It keeps us in front of our customers. It's really a second sales force for you. So it's been huge in terms of our ability to grow that market segment in the cleaning industry. Um, if I had one thing to say, said, you just have to listen. The bigger part of sales is being able to listen, understanding what the customer really needs, understanding what the customer wants, and then trying to help them figure out a solution that's going to be value added for them, for their customers, for their employees. And that's really the way we've tried to build the company. We have never skimped on the quality of the product that we build. We've always tried to address ancillary services that we could offset the higher cost of a quality product and create value added for the customer that's going to give them a better product and a better relationship with their customers, less warranties, less replacement costs, all the things involved with doing something that maybe saved on the front end but got you on the back end. So we just don't go down that road. And I would just say you need to listen and help your customer figure out what they need to resolve their problem and do the best you can to get them there.